Tom's ship shook as it entered the thick clouds of growler. Red lightning flashed outside the window. Alarms beeped. He tried to keep the ship steady, but the controls were not responding. Smoke rose from one of the panels. The crash was coming. Fast. The small scout ship hit the ground with a loud thud, sliding across the muddy surface and crashing into a tree. The metal groaned as it came to a stop. Everything was silent for a moment. Then Tom opened his eyes. He coughed and pulled himself up from the seat. His arm hurt, but nothing was broken. The ship was badly damaged, but the air outside was safe. He grabbed his pack and opened the door. Outside, the sky was gray, and the forest was thick with tall trees and glowing plants. Strange animal sounds echoed in the distance. Growler was a wild planet, far from human space. No cities, no signals, just mystery. Tom was part of a deep space survey team. He was sent to scan the planet for resources, but now he was stuck here. Alone, he started to fix the ship's power core. It would take days. As the sun set, the forest began to change. The plants glowed softly, and the air felt heavy. Then, he heard a deep sound like drums, coming from far away. Tom stood still and listened. The sound was steady, slow, and coming closer. He turned off his lights and climbed up a small hill to see better. In the distance, firelight danced between the trees. A group of tall figures walked in a line. Some held torches, some carried long staffs. In the middle of them, tied with thick ropes, was a tall alien woman. She was like no one Tom had ever seen. She was strong, with fur on her arms and legs. Her eyes were bright yellow, and her face looked both wild and noble. She walked proudly. Even though she was hurt, Tom's heart beat faster. Who was she? Why were they taking her? And where were they going? He followed them from a safe distance. The group moved through the forest until they reached a high cliff. A red beam of light shot into the sky from the top. It made the clouds above twist and spin. The group began to chant. They surrounded the woman and raised their arms to the sky. Tom looked up. A huge shadow moved in the stars. It had no shape, just darkness and glowing red eyes. It made no sound, but Tom could feel it. It was old. It was hungry. He had heard of this before. Some explorers called it the Star Eater, a creature that lived in deep space, feeding on energy, life, and fear. No one knew where it came from. Some said it was not a creature at all but a curse. Tom's hand shook. The tribe was going to throw the Beastwoman into the red beam, a sacrifice. They believed it would stop the Star Eater from taking their village. He looked at the woman again. She did not scream. She stood tall, looking up at the sky like she was ready to face death. But Tom couldn't just watch. He opened his pack and took out a small shock device. It was not a weapon, just something to scare away wild animals. He also had a flash bomb. That would have to be enough. As the tribe raised their staffs, Tom ran forward. He threw the flash bomb. A bright light filled the cliffside. The tribe's people screamed and fell back. Tom rushed in and used the shock tool to stun two guards. He cut the ropes holding the woman. She looked at him with wide eyes but said nothing. "Come on," he said. "We have to run." She didn't move. He grabbed her arm and pulled her. Her legs were weak, but she followed. The tribe started to chase them, shouting in their strange language. Tom ran as fast as he could, pulling the woman behind him. The forest was dark, and the drums were louder now. Tom pressed a button on his suit. A cloaking field wrapped around them. They vanished into the shadows. The tribe ran past, confused. He led the woman to a cave he had found earlier and blocked the entrance with rocks and branches. Then he lit a small lamp and turned to look at her. She sat on the floor, breathing hard. Her fur was dirty, and she had cuts on her arms and legs. But her eyes were still bright. Tom took out a med kit and began to clean her wounds. She didn't stop him. She watched him closely, as if trying to understand. He gave her water. She drank slowly, never taking her eyes off him. They sat in silence for a long time. Tom finally spoke. "Why were they going to do that to you?" She said nothing. He sighed. "I don't know what's going on, but I couldn't let you die." She tilted her head, like she had never seen anyone like him before. Tom leaned back against the cave wall. The drums were gone now, but the fear still hung in the air. Above them, the Star Eater moved in the sky, watching, waiting. The cave was quiet except for the sound of soft breathing and a few drops of water falling from the ceiling. Tom sat near the entrance, holding a small tool in one hand and his scanner in the other. He kept an eye on the alien woman, who sat across from him, still watching him without speaking. Her name, her story, her pain, everything was a mystery. Tom's scanner showed no signs of heat or movement nearby. The tribe had stopped searching for now. Maybe they believed she was already taken by the Star Eater. He turned toward her and spoke gently. "Are you all right?" The Beastwoman didn't answer. Her yellow eyes blinked slowly. She still looked tired, and her arms were wrapped in bandages Tom had placed earlier. Tom handed her a food pack. She sniffed it carefully, then took small bites. He smiled. "At least we agree on food." She didn't smile back, but her breathing became calmer. Tom leaned back and looked at the cave roof. He had seen many strange things in space: empty cities, silent moons, even machines still working after 1,000 years. But this planet felt different. The fear was alive here, and now he was part of something he didn't understand. He looked back at her. "My name is Tom. I'm from Earth." She looked at him for a moment, then pointed at herself. "Nara," she said in a low, rough voice. Tom nodded slowly. "Nara, that's a strong name." She didn't reply, but something in her eyes changed. Maybe a small spark of trust. He pointed to the stars outside the cave. "That thing up there, your people think it's a god, don't they?" Nara's face darkened. She looked away, her hands tight around her knees. Tom continued. "They tried to give you to it." "Why?" She spoke in short, broken words. "They fear me, my strength, old blood, too strong. They say Star Eater wants power." Tom leaned forward. "So, they thought if they gave you to it, it would leave them alone." Nara gave a slow nod. Tom shook his head. "That's not right. They're scared. But that's no reason to throw someone away." Nara looked at him. "You saved me." "Why?" Tom smiled a little. "Because no one should die like that, and because I couldn't just watch." She was silent again, but this time her shoulders relaxed a little. She was beginning to believe him. As night passed, Tom took turns sleeping and watching. In the deep hours of the night, strange sounds came from outside, hissing, clicking, like sharp claws on stone. Tom held his shock tool tightly. He knew the forest was not safe. But the sound passed, and the morning light slowly returned. Nara stood and stretched. Her wounds were healing fast. She looked stronger than before. "We move?" she asked. Tom nodded. "Yes. We have to get back to my ship. It's damaged, but I can fix it from there. We can leave this planet." Nara didn't move. "What's wrong?" Tom asked. She pointed to the sky. "It not let me leave." Tom followed her gaze. The Star Eater still floated high above the clouds. Its red eyes glowed like suns. It was not chasing, but it was watching. "Waiting." Tom said. "Then, we'll move quietly. Avoid the tribe. Avoid the sky." "Can you walk far?" Nara gave a small nod. "I can fight too." Tom grinned. "Good. Let's go." They left the cave and moved through the thick trees. Tom used his scanner to avoid heat signs. Nara moved like a shadow, strong and fast. She didn't speak much, but she stayed close to him. As they moved, they saw signs of the tribe's small camps, broken totems, and symbols carved into trees. Tom avoided them all, but something else was moving too. A strange silence fell over the forest. Birds stopped singing. The air turned cold. Nara stopped walking and sniffed the wind. "Star Eater calls. Beasts," she said. Tom looked around. "What kind of beasts?" She pointed to the shadows between trees. Dark shapes moved there, long arms, glowing eyes, no sound. Tom whispered, "We need to run." They moved quickly, but the shapes followed. Suddenly, one of the creatures leaped from the trees. It was black and thin, with long fingers and no face. Nara jumped forward and slammed it to the ground. Her claws cut through its chest. The creature let out a terrible hiss before turning into dust. More of them appeared. Tom used his flash bomb. Again to blind them, Nara fought with tooth and claw, while Tom set off traps behind them. He threw small fire charges that lit the trees, blocking the path. They kept running until the forest thinned out. A small hill stood ahead, and Tom recognized the area. "My ship is this way," he said. Breathing hard, they climbed the hill. And at the top, Tom saw the smoke from his ship's wreckage. It was still there, safe. But the ground behind them shook. The creatures were not done. Tom pulled out a beacon from his bag and pressed it. A blue dome formed around them. A temporary shield. Nara looked back, then at him. "You're not like others." Tom raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean? You fight for me, even when you're weak." Tom laughed. "I'm not weak. I'm just creative." Nara gave a small smile for the first time. Inside the shield, they sat and rested. The creatures circled, but didn't enter. Tom looked at the sky. "If the Star Eater wants you, we need to know why. Maybe we can stop it, together." Nara looked at him. "You want fight Sky Beast?" Tom shrugged. "If we don't, who will?" She didn't answer, but she didn't laugh either. That was enough for now. The blue shield round the hill hummed softly. It kept the shadow beast away for now. But Tom knew it wouldn't last forever. He sat on a rock near the edge, checking his tools. Nara sat nearby, sharpening a piece of metal into a blade. Her hands moved fast, like she had done this many times. Tom glanced at her. "You ever use tools like these?" Nara didn't look up. "I fight with hands. But sharp edge is good too." He smiled, glad to hear that. She had spoken more in the last few hours than she had since he rescued her. Her voice was low, deep, and serious. But there was power in her words. Tom opened a small screen from his bag and brought up a star map. "If I can fix the energy cell, we can leave this planet. We'll head toward a human base. They'll help you." Nara looked at the screen but said nothing. He noticed her face change. There was something behind her silence, something deep. "What is it?" he asked. She spoke slowly. "I cannot leave." "Not yet." Tom blinked. "Why not?" "You were almost sacrificed. These people fear you. The Star Eater is after you." Nara's yellow eyes turned toward the sky. "Because I am the reason it came." Tom stared at her, confused. "What do you mean?" She took a deep breath and looked at her hands. "My people, long ago, we were warriors. We lived in balance. We guarded the land and the stars. But then, we forgot our purpose. Fear took root." Tom leaned forward. "You're saying your people called it?" Nara nodded. "Not on purpose. The old ones told stories. They believed if they gave the strongest to the sky, the beast would leave. One day, they believed that strongest was me." Tom shook his head. "But that doesn't make sense. That creature is huge. It's not some god. It's something else." Nara looked at him. "It feeds on belief, on fear, on hope. If enough minds send it power, it grows stronger." Tom stood and began to pace. "So, the more they fear it, the stronger it gets." "Yes," Nara said. "And now, it watches. Because I was meant to be the final gift." Tom looked up at the sky. The Star Eater hovered far above, hidden behind clouds. But its presence was heavy. It was like a dark thought that never left the mind. "We need a plan," Tom said. "We can't stay on this hill forever." Nara stood. "You said you came in a ship. Where is it?" Tom pointed beyond the trees. "It's not far. Damaged, but I can fix it if we reach it." Nara picked up her blade. "Then we go." They moved down the hill. The shadow creatures had moved on, but Tom stayed alert. Every step felt like a test. The forest was alive, but it no longer sang. No birds, no wind. Just silence. As they walked, Tom asked, "Have you ever fought the Star Eater before?" Nara gave a short nod. "When I was young. It came once. My mother stood against it. She used old power burning light. It left for many years." Tom raised an eyebrow. "Burning light." She called it sunfire. A gift from the sky. Only few could hold it. Tom frowned. "That sounds like ancient tech. Maybe something from before your people lost their knowledge." Nara said nothing, but her eyes looked distant, like memories were returning. After an hour, They reached the edge of the clearing where Tom's ship had crashed. The wreckage was bent and blackened, but some lights still blinked. There it is, Tom said. Let's hope the power cell isn't fried. As they moved forward, a low sound filled the air. Not from the ship, but from above. The clouds turned red. Nara stopped. It comes again. Tom ran to the ship and opened the side hatch. He pulled out a heavy energy core and scanned it. Still good. I just need time to set it into place. But time was not on their side. The sky opened like a wound. The Star Eater descended slightly, just enough to cast a huge shadow over the trees. The ground shook. Nara stepped forward and looked up. You want me? She shouted. Then come. The creature did not answer, but Tom felt something in his head, a whisper. Cold, empty, a voice without words. He fought to stay focused. I need 10 minutes. Can you keep it away? Nara didn't answer. She ran toward the edge of the clearing and roared. From the shadows came more beasts, crawling and jumping. She met them head on. Her blade sliced through two at once. Her claws tore through another. Tom worked fast, fitting the power cell into the engine slot. Sparks flew, but the screen turned green. It was working. Outside, Nara was surrounded. Her fur was bloody, her breath heavy, but she didn't stop. She fought like fire. Tom finished locking the engine and activated the shields. The ship powered up with a low hum. Nara, he shouted. It's ready, come. She turned and ran toward the ship. The creatures chased her. Tom opened the ramp and pulled her inside just as one of the beasts leapt forward. The ship's door slammed shut. Inside, both of them fell to the floor, breathing hard. Nara's arm was cut, but she smiled slightly. Tom looked at her. That was close. Nara nodded. You are brave, human. He laughed weakly. No, just too stubborn to die. They sat in silence as the ship's systems came back to life. The Star Eater hovered above but did not strike. Tom turned to Nara. We need to find out what that sunfire was. If your mother used it, maybe we can too. Nara looked at him with sharp eyes. Then we go to the sky grave. Tom frowned. What's that? She pointed north. Old ship. Fallen from stars. Long ago. That's where she got the fire. Tom nodded. Then that's where we're going. Outside, the sky burned red. Inside the ship, hope began to rise. The ship moved slowly above the trees. Its engines made a low sound, and smoke still came from the broken side panels. Tom sat at the control seat, guiding the ship through the thick clouds. Nara stood beside him, looking out the window with sharp eyes. The red sky above still glowed, and the shadow of the Star Eater moved far in the distance. It had not attacked again. But both Tom and Nara knew it was not gone. It was watching, waiting. Tom checked the map on the screen. This is as close as I can fly. That skygrave place you mentioned, it's deep in the forest. Big trees and broken land. We'll have to go the rest of the way on foot. Nara nodded. We go now, before the next dark. Tom landed the ship on a small flat area between tall stone cliffs. He activated the ground shield around it before stepping out with his gear. Nara stepped out too. Her wounds were mostly healed. Her blade was tied to her back, and her eyes looked ready for battle. They moved together through the forest. The path was rough. Roots twisted across the ground. Strange plants glowed softly. Small eyes watched them from the shadows, but nothing attacked yet. As they walked, Tom asked, What is this sky grave exactly? Is it a temple or something older? Nara answered quietly. It is a ship from before my time, crashed from the stars. My mother said it came from far beyond this world. It carried light that burns darkness. Tom looked surprised. So your people used that light to fight the Star Eater before? Yes, she said. But when the old ones died, no one remembered how to use it. Only stories remain. Tom walked beside her and thought for a while. If that ship still has power, maybe I can understand its systems. Maybe we can use them. Nara looked at him. You think like Builder. That is good. Suddenly, a strong wind passed through the trees. All sounds stopped. Even the glowing plants dimmed. Nara stopped. Her ears twitched. They come. Tom looked around. The beasts. She gave a short nod. Star Eater sends them. Always before it feeds, dark shapes move between the trees, silent. Crawling low, eyes glowing faint red dot, Tom pulled out his small scanner. 6, no, 7 of them, getting closer. Nara held her blade. We fight. Tom looked around and saw a tall tree with low branches. No, we climb. Higher ground is safer. They ran to the tree and climbed quickly. Nara was fast and silent. Tom followed with effort. Pulling himself up to a thick branch, from above, they saw the shadow creatures enter the clearing. Long limbs, sharp claws, no sound. The beasts sniffed the ground where Tom and Nara had stood moments ago. One of them let out a low hiss. They tracked scent. Nara whispered. Tom nodded. I have something for that. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small ball. He threw it far into the forest. It hit a rock and exploded in a cloud of smoke. The smell was sharp and strong. The creatures turned and ran toward the smoke. Tom smiled. That should buy us time. They climbed down and moved quickly through the forest. The ground became rocky. Old metal pieces stuck out from the soil. We are close, Nara said. Soon, the trees opened to a wide valley. In the center lay a broken ship, half buried in the ground. Its surface was old and covered in moss. Strange symbols glowed on its side. Tom's eyes widened. This is it, the sky grave. They walked carefully through the wreckage. Tom scanned the air. No traps, radiation low. Power signs still active. This place is not dead. Inside, the ship was dark and quiet. Long halls stretched ahead. Lights blinked on as they walked. Machines hummed softly. Tom touched the wall. This metal. I've never seen it. It's not from any human tech. Nara placed her hand on a panel. The wall glowed. A door opened with a soft hiss. They entered a large room. In the center stood a tall crystal-like structure glowing orange. Around it were small machines and panels covered in symbols. Tom walked slowly to the main panel and placed his hand on it. The screen lit up. I can understand some of this. It's an energy system. And here, a weapon core. Something powerful. Nara stepped forward. This is the Sunfire. My mother stood here. The light entered her. She became strong. Tom looked at the core. It reacts to your touch. Maybe your people were connected to this ship. Maybe you carry its signal in your blood. Nara touched the crystal. A sudden light flashed. She stepped back, breathing hard. Tom caught her arm. Are you all right? She nodded. Her eyes glowed brighter. Her fur shimmered. I feel more, stronger. The ground shook. A deep sound came from above. Tom turned to the door. It knows we're here. Nara stood tall. Let it come. Tom looked at the core. This weapon, if we can power it fully, it can hurt the Star Eater. He searched the panels quickly. Yes, there's a link, a direct beam. I can connect it to your energy, but we must stay here and defend it. While it charges, Nara smiled. Then we fight, together. Outside, the sky turned red once more. The Star Eater was coming, but this time, it would not find fear. It would find fire. For the first time since Tom landed on Growler, the sky was calm. Blue clouds moved slowly above the valley. Birds returned to the trees. The air was no longer heavy with fear. Inside the broken sky grave, the glowing crystal had gone dim. The energy was used, but it had done its job. Tom stood beside Nara as she looked up at the sky. Her fur was still shining softly, her eyes peaceful now. You did it, Tom said. You sent it away. Nara nodded slowly. For now, Tom raised an eyebrow. You don't think it's over? She turned to him. The Star Eater is not truly dead. It is a thing of the stars. It does not live like us. It sleeps, then it wakes. If the fear grows again, it will return. Tom looked around the ruins. The old ship was silent. Its systems were no longer working, so the weapon can't be used again. Nara shook her head. It was one fire, one light. It was meant for a last stand. Tom took a deep breath. Then we need a better plan next time. They left the sky grave and began walking back toward the ship. The forest was no longer dark. Light passed through the trees. Small animals moved through the bushes. Life was slowly returning. When they reached the landing site, the ship was still safe. Tom lowered the shield and stepped inside with Nara. I can fix the rest of the systems now, he said. We'll leave this place and warn others. Someone out there must know more about the Star Eater. Nara didn't speak. Tom turned to her. What is it? She looked out at the forest. I feel something strange. Tom checked his scanner. No heat signs, no movement. Wait, something's wrong. A sudden gust of wind hit the ship. The lights flickered. Tom looked out the window. The sky was red again. No, he whispered. Nara, step forward. It's coming back. Tom ran to the controls. But how? We fired the full power. It was gone. Nara placed her hand on the glass. The fear returned. Tom didn't understand at first. Then he saw something below. People. Dozens of them. Villagers from deep in the forest had come to the valley. They had seen the light. They had followed the glow. And now they were kneeling in fear. Some cried. Some whispered prayers. All of them stared at the sky, waiting. They believe it will return, Nara said. Their minds give it strength again. Tom hit the console infiltration. This is what it wants. Not just food and not just power. It wants fear. It feeds on it. The clouds above twisted. The red glow became stronger. A deep sound shook the air. The Star Eater rose once more. But it looked different now. It was darker, heavier. Its shape more clear. It had grown. Tom stared in horror. We heard it, but now it's stronger. Nara stepped back. I am no longer full of fire. I cannot stop it again. Tom stood beside her. Then we need to do something else, something new. He looked at the villagers below. They need to stop fearing it. They need to stop feeding it. Nara nodded. But how? Tom thought quickly. They saw you fight it. They saw you survive. Maybe. If they believe in your strength instead of its, maybe that will weaken it. Nara looked at him. Unsure. You are not just a warrior, Tom said. You are a leader. You save them. Make them believe that. Nara took a deep breath. Then she opened the ship doors and walked out. Tom followed. The wind pushed against them as the Star Eater floated in the sky, red eyes glowing. Nara walked to the villagers. Some backed away, others bowed. She raised her voice. Do not fear it, no. One moved. She stepped forward. Look at me. It wanted me gone. But I still stand. It wanted your silence, but I will speak. Tom joined her. This thing lives in your minds. Stop feeding it. Stop fearing it. The villagers looked around. The air shook again. One child stepped forward. You are not afraid? Nara knelt beside him. Not anymore. A small light appeared in the sky. Just a blink. The Star Eater flickered for a second. Tom saw it. It's working. Keep going. Nara stood. This creature is not your master. It is your shadow. But light breaks shadow. The villagers stood slowly. Some raised their heads, some dropped. Their weapons. A woman from the crowd spoke. You are our leader, not the sky beast. Another man joined her. We believe in you. The sky flashed again. The Star Eater twisted. Its shape broke slightly. More villagers began to speak. She lives. She fights. We are not afraid. The red clouds began to clear. Tom stared in shock. It's breaking apart. Nara looked at the sky. It cannot live where hope is strong. The Star Eater let out one final deep sound, almost like a roar of pain. Then it vanished, fading like smoke in the wind. The sky turned gold. Light passed through the trees, warm and clear. The villagers fell to their knees, not in fear, but in peace. Tom walked to Nara. You did it, not with fire, not with a weapon, but with your voice. Nara looked down at her hands. I thought strength was in claws. Now No, it is also in words. Tom smiled. That's what makes us human too. The crowd gathered around her, not as enemies, but as people in need of guidance. Nara stood tall. A protector, a leader, a symbol of light. Inside the sky grave, a soft orange glow lit the large chamber. The crystal at the center pulsed slowly, like a sleeping heart. Tom stood near the main panel, fingers tapping buttons and checking the power levels. Sparks flew from one side, but the system was still alive. Nara stood close to the crystal. Her eyes glowed brighter now. Her fur shimmered with faint light. Something inside her had changed since she touched the core. She was stronger not just in body, but in spirit. Tom looked at her. How do you feel? Nara placed a hand over her chest, warm. The fire is inside, but it is not full yet. Tom nodded. That core is linked to you. It accepts your energy. The system says it will take 1 hour to charge the weapon. Nara looked at the door. Then we must hold this place for 1 hour. Tom checked his scanner. Creatures are moving. Many, coming fast. We need to block the halls. He ran to the side of the room where broken panels and pipes lay scattered. He used them to build a barrier. Nara helped, lifting heavy metal pieces like they weighed nothing. Together, they sealed the main door and placed fire traps near the entrance. As they worked, Tom spoke. This ship, it's not just old, it's ancient, maybe older than your people. Nara paused. My mother said we came from stars. Long ago. Maybe this is from the same sky. Tom nodded. That would explain why the ship responds to you. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed from the halls. A deep howl, followed by sharp hissing. Nara picked up her blade. They are here. Tom armed his shock tool. Then we fight. The first shadow. Creatures slammed into the door. Then another. Then more. The metal shook, but the door held for now. Tom checked the energy core. Weapon charge at 25%. Nara stood in front of the door. Let them come. With a loud crash, the door burst open. Shadow creatures poured in, their claws scraping the walls, their eyes glowing red. Nara roared and jumped forward. Her blade cut through the first beast. Her claws struck down the second. Tom threw a flash bomb, blinding the rest. More came. Nara fought like fire. She moved fast, her strikes clean and strong. She blocked the beast from reaching the core. Tom used a small energy gun, hitting creatures that slipped past. He wasn't strong like Nara, but he was smart and quick. After minutes of battle, the floor was covered with dark dust, the remains of the shadow beasts. Tom breathed hard. Weapon charge at 40%. Nara's arms were bleeding, but her eyes still burned with fire. She turned to Tom. More will come. Tom nodded. I know. They took a short moment to catch their breath. Then the second wave arrived. This time, the creatures were faster. Some crawled on the walls. Others jumped from the ceiling. Tom fired quickly. Nara threw broken metal pieces like spears. The beasts screeched and attacked with wild rage. One of them grabbed Tom's arm. Nara leapt and tore it apart. He looked at her, amazed. Thank you. She smiled. We are together. We protect each other. Tom checked the core. 60%. Almost there. Another blast hit the outer wall. The whole chamber shook. Then, a loud sound came from above. Not the creatures. Something bigger. Tom looked up. A huge red light glowed through the cracks in the ceiling. The Star Eater was lowering toward the ship. Nara stared up. It knows. It fears the fire. Tom spoke quickly. We have to hold on. Just a little longer. The final wave of creatures attacked. They were larger now. Their bodies thicker, claws sharper. These were not scouts. These were the Star Eater's true servants. Nara stepped in front of the core. Her whole body was glowing now. The light inside her was spreading. The beast jumped at her. She struck them down with a single swing. Her blade was hot with energy. She no longer needed fire traps. She was the fire. Tom held the control panel. 90%. The room shook again. The roof began to crack. A piece of the ceiling fell down. Missing the core by inches. Nara raised her hand toward the sky. A beam of orange light shot from the crystal and entered her body fully. Her voice became louder, stronger. I am not your gift. I am your end. The Star Eater's eyes appeared in the sky above, shining through the broken ceiling. It let out a silent scream that made the walls shake. Tom pressed the final button. Weapon charged. Ready to fire. Nara stepped forward, opened the roof. Tom hit the control key. The top of the chamber opened slowly. The red sky was now fully visible. The Star Eater hovered above, large and dark. Its long form moved like a shadow river. Across the clouds. Nara rose from the floor, lifted by the beam. Her body was glowing like a sun. She aimed her hands at the sky. A huge beam of light shot upward, straight into the Star Eater. The creature twisted and screamed. Its shape turned wild. Its red eyes faded. Tom watched in awe. She's doing it. The light grew brighter. It covered the valley. It touched the sky. And then silence. The Star Eater vanished. The sky turned blue. The light faded. Nara dropped slowly to the floor. Her body still glowed faintly. She fell to her knees, breathing hard. Tom ran to her. "Are you all right?" She smiled weakly. "It is gone." Tom looked up. The sky was clear. No more red. No more fear. The Star Eater had been sent away. Nara stood slowly. The chamber around them was quiet now. Peaceful. Tom looked at the control panel. The weapon is empty now. But it did its job. Nara looked at him. "You helped me find them. Fire again. My people will remember this." Tom smiled. "Now we go home." The sky was bright. Warm light covered the valley. The red clouds were gone, and the air was fresh. It was morning, but it felt like the first sunrise the land had seen in 1,000 years. Tom stood near the edge of the cliff, watching the village. Below, people were smiling. Children ran around, laughing. The fear that once lived in their eyes had been replaced by calm. Beside him stood Nara, silent but strong. Her wounds had healed. Her eyes looked peaceful. "You really did it," Tom said. "You changed everything." Nara looked at him. "Not alone. You helped me see a different path. One without fear." Tom nodded. "And now?" Nara looked down at the people. "Now, they need a future. Not just survival. A real life. Hope. Safety." Tom pointed toward the ship. "We can still leave. There are other worlds, places without shadows." Nara stayed quiet for a moment. Then she smiled. "But this place is mine. These people are mine. If I go, who will protect them?" Tom looked at her with respect. "You're staying." "Yes," she said. "But you can go. You have your own people to return to." Tom looked up at the sky. He had dreamed of going back to Earth for a long time. But now, he wasn't sure. Something had changed inside him. Back at the village, the elders had gathered. They asked Nara to lead them, not as a warrior, but as a guide, a voice of truth. She accepted. Tom helped them rebuild. He showed them new tools, how to grow, better food, and how to fix the old machines from the sky grave. He taught them how to protect themselves without fear. Days passed, then weeks. The valley became a new place, a place of healing. One evening, as the stars returned to the sky, Nara sat by a fire. Tom joined her, holding two cups made of carved stone. "For you," he said, handing her one. She took it with a small smile. "Thank you." They both looked up. The stars were peaceful now. No red clouds, no sound in the sky. Only calm. "Do you think it will return?" Tom asked. Nara took a sip. "Maybe. But next time, we will be ready, and we will not be afraid." Tom looked around the village. "You've given them something strong." "So have you," Nara said. He shook his head. "I was just a traveler. I didn't even know what I was doing when I landed." "But you cared," she replied. "You risked everything to save someone you didn't know." Tom smiled. "That's what humans do sometimes." Nara looked at him with gentle eyes. "Then maybe this world needs more humans." Tom laughed softly. "Maybe it does, later." That night, as the village slept, Tom walked alone to the old sky grave. The ruins were quiet now. No more glowing lights, but something pulled him there. Inside, he found a small panel still working. The screen blinked. Long-range signal detected. Earth station. Listening. Tom stared at it. He could press one button and call home. He touched the panel gently. His finger hovered over the key. Then he pulled back. He smiled. Not yet. He closed the panel and walked outside. The stars above didn't feel so far anymore. The next day, Nara gathered the people. A new wall had been built around the village. Watchtowers stood tall, not for fear but for safety. The crops had grown. The water was clean. The people clapped when Nara stood on the high stone. She spoke with strength. "We were once a people who hid, who waited, who feared. But now, we rise, not with fire, not with anger, but with each other. The crowd cheered. Tom watched from the back, arms crossed. Smiling, a young boy came up to him. Is it true you came from the stars? Tom looked down. Yes, will you go back? Maybe one day, Tom said. But right now, this is home. The boy grinned and ran off. Later, Nara found Tom near the ship. Are you leaving today? She asked. Tom looked at the sky. No, not today. I think I want to stay a little longer. Nara nodded. Good. We still have much to build. Together. They looked out across the valley. The place that was once ruled by fear had become a land of peace. Life had returned. The people had changed, and so had Tom, from a lost traveler to a helper to a hero. Not because of strength, but because of hope. Because humanity had something no beast or shadow could destroy. A heart that never gives up, and a light that never goes out.